Hello, my friend. How are you doing? I hope you're having an outstanding day. Of course, I always hope you're having an outstanding day. Did you realize that today is the last day of November? I don't know how that happened. Tomorrow will be December, and we will be heading into the last month of the year. And do you remember when we all were like, yeah, 2020 is going to be over? And then we just kind of pressed pause on time. It's so strange. This is this is what my thoughts have been of these days. How quickly time is going, but yet seems to be standing still at the same time. Get your head around that one. Um, this is Heather, and this is our Wednesday edition of the Back to Me podcast. And because it's the end of the month, it's the book chat. It's our monthly book chat. It kind of snuck up on me, I have to tell you. But luckily, this book, You Are a Baddass, by Jen Sincero. You Are a Baddass, How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and Start Living an Awesome Life. This is a book, I will tell you, that I have actually read more than once. And I have also Jen's other book. Jen, I feel like I can call her Jen. Jen, have her other book. Actually, I have a couple other books, but You Are a Baddass at Making Money. I have on audio, and I just listen to it. And whenever I feel like I just need a little pick me up. And this is the amazing thing about Jen Sincero. She is totally herself in these books. I feel like she's completely herself in these books. She doesn't try to sugarcoat things. She doesn't try to use the fluffy language that sometimes you get in self-help books. She doesn't coddle you. She kind of gives it to you straight, which I like. And she's cynical and she's sarcastic and she has a penchant for swearing here and there. And she is a complete badass, and she will tell you herself that she's, while being a badass, kind of normal, just a normal person, and had normal struggles and had normal things that she went through to get to where she was, as we all do. As I'm learning through, uh, as I continue to learn, as I'm going through my celebrity chats every week, I'm talking to some pretty amazing people every week on the podcast, and so many stories that are so fascinating on how people ended up where they were and what brought them to where they were. And often it's a struggle. Something has happened that's been a struggle, and they felt like you could stay in it or you could figure out how to get out of it. And when you figure out how to get out of it is when you grow. I was listening to a podcast. I know I'm a little off track. Just stay with me here. I was listening to a podcast actually yesterday, and he was saying, we try to avoid and avoid and avoid struggle, but that's the only place where you're actually going to have anything change. It's in the struggle where you learn something and grow and become something better. So if you always stay somewhere where there's no challenges, you kind of stagnate. You don't grow at all, and you might. I don't know if you'd be happy or not. I'm not going to make that call for you, but I think I'd be bored out of my tree. I would lose my mind. So maybe that's why the bookstore has a whole section on self-help, because people recognize there's something going on. I'm not liking it. Maybe it would be easier if I had a little help. I think some people go to the self-help section to find the easy solution. And the first thing I'll tell you, yeah, there's no easy solution, my friend. If you're having something crappy that you're going through, the podcast I listened to yesterday said, see that as a blessing, that you, or bonus, or however you want to call it, as something amazing, because you get to go through that and you get to take the lesson away from that. And it means that you're growing. It means something awesome is happening. Something's changing. So when you go to the self-help section, don't look for the ultimate solution, because you are you, and someone can help you. A self-help book, a coach, someone can help you, but yeah, you've got to do the work. This particular podcaster always says, the personal trainer can't do the push-ups for you. You've got to do them yourself. So yeah, that's my little sidebar on self-help. But this book, if you are in a spot that's like, this isn't quite what I'm hoping for, this isn't, you're not feeling quite awesome, if you're not feeling like a badass, and and you should know that you are a badass, there's a badass in there 100%, then the self-help section of the bookstore is like that easy entry point to ease you into it. It's like going in the shallow end. When the water's cold, you're like, I'm just going to test the water first. And this book, my friends, is awesome. And she kind of leads you through a little step at a time on how to get from where you are to, further down the road. She starts with the standard question, how the heck did we get here anyway? Because, how are you going to get maybe you can. Now I'm going to reframe that. You can sometimes get somewhere new by not knowing how you got where you are, but sometimes that reflection back will help you from staying on the same path, making the same mistakes. If you can say, oh, I'm here because I always do what this person says, or I'm always influenced by this, or I'm always take this for granted. And if I stop doing that, then I'm happier and I can get on my own path. Well, that's why it's helpful to know, how did you get here anyway? And, recognize just how awesome you are. I feel maybe it's my social media feed is curated to me specifically, but there's so much out there now telling you that you're awesome. But are you listening? And are you believing them? Do you think it's just bull? Maybe you think it's bull. It's not bull. Everybody's awesome. And then so we go, how to connect with your awesome. Maybe you don't even know that you're awesome. So she kind of guides you through how to connect with your awesome. And all the things that you do to crap on yourself because you think you're not awesome. So once you're aware of them, then you can't you can't unsee them. So awareness is that first step. This is something I've mentioned before. To make a change, first you got to be aware that there's something to change or that you want something different. So, yes, so books. All books need someone to read them. That's why they're on the shelf. But you could have a bookshelf full of self-help books and still be stuck where you are. You could have a gym membership that you never go to the gym and you wonder why you're not in shape yet, right? So as you go through Jen's book, which like I said, is awesome. First of all, it's not a race to get through the book. It's not like you're trying to get to the ending to find out who the murderer is. And sometimes even when you flip I don't go to the last page. That drives me crazy. When people go to the last page of the book and read the end, come on. It's the journey. It's not the destination. So a self-help book isn't a jump to the end and read the ending and just have everything solved. You have to do the steps. You have to do the push-ups. You have to do the work. And the book is a great place to start if you don't know where to start. And it'll start to give you ideas on different ways of thinking. And, it's also, if you don't feel comfortable, you don't understand what it's like to work with someone else on it, it's that entry point in. So you can start to examine it. And I always think about this example as like, curling up with a book and thinking about your deepest, darkest, versus standing up in front of a class and almost fainting as you try to give a speech. That's how I compare books versus live and in person sometimes. That's the shy side of me coming out. I did almost pass out in grade 5 when I had to give a speech. Oh my God, really, seriously, I almost passed out. So you have to start somewhere, right? You have to start with your awareness and then start to do some work. So as you go through the book, at the end of each chapter, She gives you a little pep talk, and she gives you some things to do. They're not hard. They're not hard to do. Like if I look at how to embrace your inner badass. Yeah, let's talk about that. Mm-hmm. You know, one of the things that she's telling you to do is, one, do the things you love. Some people, believe it or not, don't know what that is. So you might have to back up a little bit. But, you know, if affirmations work for you, drown yourself in affirmations. Do things you love. Ditch the self-deprecating humor. Sometimes we joke about ourselves in such a way that if you turned that around and said that about someone else, you would never say that to someone else, right? You would never say that about someone else. Don't compare yourself to others, my friend, because everybody's on their own journey. I'm on mine, you're on yours, they're on theirs. Doesn't matter where they are, because that's not your road. You're on your road, right? So as you go through the chapters, like I was saying, it's not a race to get through the chapters. At the end of each chapter, you take time, do what it says, think about it. Even just do one chapter a week. There's no rush. It took you a long time to get where you are. I compare it to weight loss because it's just an easy comparison. You know, how long did it take you to get to your current weight, whatever it is? And that is, if you want to change that, it's not going to happen overnight. It takes time for your body to adjust. It takes time for your brain to adjust to new ways of thinking. And so yes, it's not a race. So this book, I really loved this book for a few reasons. It's practical. It's leading you through step by step. It's giving you things to think about at the end. And because of Jen's languaging and the way she speaks, you just feel like you're hanging out with your best friend who doesn't BS you at all. The one who will tell you when you're acting stupid or you're blocking yourself or you're being a jerk. And she's just sitting with you and she's taking you in hand and she is helping you see parts of yourself that maybe you're not willing to look at, and it's going to help you move through them. And it's a beautiful place, right? Having a friend to do that, even if it's a book. Even a book can be a friend. A book can be a mentor. A book can be I just need to tune in to Jen Sincero for a few minutes, so I'll just go read a chapter. Let's flip it open to see what the universe sends to me. I could tell you the whole book. I know I'm not giving you a whole lot of information on the contents because I don't want to tell you the whole book because I would just read the whole book for you. But one of my favorite chapters is chapter 15. And chapter 15, let me just go look, is called Forgive or Fester. Forgive or Fester. And I've been doing, I've got to review Denise Duffield Thomas's books at some point because there's crossovers in having, a BFF who's talking to you. But she does a forgiveness practice in her book to help you kind of release your money blocks, because Denise Duffield Thomas is specifically a money mindset coach. And I've been doing lots of forgiveness practices for probably, oh my gosh, probably like, I don't know how long, for quite a while now. And I do them every day. And I just incorporate them into my day. And it's nothing, huge or confusing or magical. Maybe it is magical. It's based on the Hawaiian, I'm going to say it wrong, Ho'oponopono. Yeah, maybe I said that right. You can look it up. And so I loved the Forgiver Fester chapter because really forgiveness is not for the person that you're forgiving, right? It's for you. It's for you. And there's a quote from the book that I'm just going to read. Holding on to resentment is like taking poison and waiting for your enemies to die, right? Holding on to resentment, holding on to something that someone said or did to you doesn't hurt them because they likely have no idea. They might not even know that it was something that you found offensive or hurtful. You could have a conversation with them about it, but if that's not an option, it's like, don't hold on to it. It's not about being nice to that person. It's about being nice to yourself. Because if you let that go, you clear out that space, then you've got more room to be your badass self, which I'm trying to encourage you to do. Right? I know. I'm preaching to the choir half the time. So, my friend, your monthly book review, 100%. Check out Jen Sincero because what does it say on the back? You're a Badass is a self-help book for the people who desperately want to improve their lives but don't want to get busted doing it. Maybe she means arrested. Yes. And if you start with the book and you decide that's you have your awareness, you make your decision, and you don't know how to get your forward action, that's when you do what I said. One of the 5 things you need in life: call a friend, get a mentor, get a coach, get a BFF who won't BS you and help you move, and step into your badass, awesome self life, right? That's it for me this week, my friends. That's your end of the month book review. Definitely check out that book if you can. If you can get the audio version, even better, because Jen is fun to listen to. This Friday, check out the podcast this Friday. It's another one of our awesome celebrities. And this week is Wesley Reese. And it's not who you think it is, my friend. I know you're thinking, she doesn't usually have men. Well, it's not a man. Oh, no, wait. That's not this week. This week is Courtney. That was last week, I think. Courtney Whitebay is this week. Phew, Heather, talk to your assistant. This week is Courtney. And Courtney, so she's an exercise physiologist, but she incorporates coaching, business coaching, into exercising. It's like brilliant. Have a listen to the podcast. If you need some help, my friends, if you want to have a conversation, just pop me a message. I'd love to have a chat with you. Take care. I'll see you next time.